Hello and welcome to TDN Africa Media, and this is the news update. I am Joy Claudia Redwood-Sawyerr. In today's edition of the news update, women converge to celebrate gender reforms, and ECSL Media and Communications Officer Raymond George speaks to TDN of ECSL's preparedness ahead of the 2023 elections. These are our top headlines. Let's take a short break. This is TDN Africa Media News Update. Now the news in detail. As the commemoration of the International Women's Day continues, yesterday, Tuesday, March 14, 2023, hundreds of women led by Her Excellency, the First Lady, Dr. Fatima Madabiu, had converged at State House after a grand procession from Upgon Turntable in Freetown through major streets with singing, dancing, and drumming. According to the Strategic Communications Division Office of the First Lady, the event was staged to appreciate His Excellency, the President and his government for making strategic reforms towards women empowerment, including the enactment of the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Act and the Free Quality Education. Making his statement, President Bio started by reaffirming that the future of women of Sierra Leone is women. He continued that his government has taken issues of gender equality and women's empowerment very seriously. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, retired Brigadier Julius Maada, has made an inspiring announcement that the future of Sierra Leone belongs to the women. He continued that his government has taken deliberate actions towards the empowerment of women and girls. He inspired the women to be optimistic about their future in Sierra Leone. Let me assure you today that one day, soon, a woman will be elected as President of Sierra Leone, the President affirmed. President Bio noted that his government is committed to the empowerment of women and girls, stating that government will continue to invest in education. Speaking on behalf of the women, a representative from the All People's Party Women Association, WAPA, Mrs. Augusta Kiley, thanked President Madabiu for the numerous gender reforms, which, according to her, has left the women from all political parties with no option other than to support his government on the gender agenda. Similar statements were made by civil society and parliamentary representatives, women's advocacy groups, and others spoke. Well, going forward in today's news update, we'll take a new issue, and that has to do with the ECSL, Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, following its major plans ahead of the June 2023 general elections. The Director of Media and Communications of ECSL, Raymond George, has spoken to TDN on their preparedness ahead of the 2023 elections. Speaking to our reporter, Amadou, here is the report.
Hello, Mr. George.
Yes, good day. How are you?
You are welcome to TDN Africa Media.
Thank you very much.
As we already know, you happen to be the media director for the Electoral Commission Sierra Leone.
Oh, yes.
So today we want to look at the development around the preparedness of the Electoral Commission towards the election itself. So we want you to at least give us a little bit of background on how you guys have gone so far.
Thank you very much. We've actually come a long way. You know, for every electoral cycle, there are 3 phases. We have the pre-electoral phase, and we have the electoral phase, and then the post-electoral phase. Now we are still in the pre-electoral phase. What we've done so far, we have looked at the legal reforms, the laws, and we've got various regulations out, especially regulations for the proportional representation system, the one for seat allocations, and that of the type of elections we'll be conducting using the PR system. And we've also looked at the Public Elections Act, a review of the Public Elections Act, and now we have a Public Elections Act of 2022. And then we've also looked at some constitutional amendments. Now, from that, we've gone to carry out our voter registration exercise. We've done the data capture, we've completed the exhibition exercise, and now we are looking at how we can distribute the voter registration cards, which will come up later this month. And we've also got training, various trainings. Specifically, we've just completed the training of the training of trainers for the card distribution. We, as at Saturday, we completed the training of the district staff, and we've also completed the training of the ward coordinators. They are now known as election coordinators, because in the PR system we don't have wards. So now we are dealing with election coordinators. We've just completed their training, and later we'll be going to train the staff that will be involved in the center. Each center will have about 2 staff. One will be known as the card issuer, who will be in charge of the center, and this time around we're getting all 3,630 centers fully operational for 10 days to distribute the voter cards. So the card issuer will be in charge, and later they will be trained together with their assistants. We'll have 2 staff members, so they will be there with their assistants. So we hope to train them, and after we've distributed the cards, that is the time we will complete the pre-election cycle, the phase within the cycle, the pre-election phase. And after that, we'll go into the electoral phase, where we'll begin to talk about nomination, campaigning, polling, and counting, and then announcement of results. So far, we have gone to that stage, wherein we are at the closing point of the pre-electoral phase, that is distributing ID cards. It will be done very soon. But with still with regards to that one, we've also looked at infrastructural development. Now, we have offices all over the country in all 16 districts. We have 2 in Karine because of its topography, and we have 1 in Bond Island because you have a mainland and an island. So we have 18 offices countrywide. Most of them are rented offices. But now, with the help of funds from government, we have completed the regional office in Bo, and we've completed the regional office in Kenema. We had one in Makini previously. It has been renovated and updated, and now it has a fence. It is fenced, and it has a security post, and it is well up to standard. So we have 3 regional offices currently nationwide, save the western area and the northwest, which we will consider probably towards the end of the cycle or in the next cycle. We've also gone around doing sensitization in all the 16 districts. We've met with stakeholders. We've met with the paramount chiefs, the party executives, market women, civil society groups, observers, etc. we've trained them, we've disseminated information to them about the PR system, the elections that will be using the PR system to conduct, and the other systems that will be using across the country. That we have completed, and now we are preparing them to go down to the district level. We've also had sensitization exercises with APA, the Association of Political Parties. And we've also done some training with APWA, that's the youth wing of political parties, and APWA, that is the women's wing of our political parties. We've trained them, we've empowered them, so they in turn will have to go now and train their members. We've also had engagement with interfaith groups, and different denominations of the Christian religion, different Muslim faith religious groups, and we've also talked to them, we've trained them, and they will also be helping us in sensitizing their congregation when they go out to preach. We've also met with the civil society organizations. We've trained them and we've empowered them to also go out. We've also completed the register that we'll be using to conduct the election, and as I speak, I'll tell you that we have a total of 3,374,258 voters in our register. That has been completed and it is ready. It is from that register that we have printed the ID cards that we'll be distributing, and we've ensured that these voters have been placed into polling stations. Now, if you know that if you have a polling center based on, we have 3,630 of those registration centers, they will also be looked at to become the polling centers. So each center will have a good number of registrants. For example, if you have 1,000 registrants, the Commission has developed a policy wherein 300 is a standard for every polling station. So if there are 1,000 voters, we'll have 300, 300, 300, that's 900, and the 100 will go into the third station, because they have come up with a policy that no station should be less than 300 standard or more than 400 based on the number of registrants. So if there are 1,000, we'll have 3 stations. The 2 stations will have 300 and the last one will have 400. It is not above 400, we'll have 400. But let's also say we have 1,200. That's 4 stations automatically, because 3 times 4 is 12. If you have 1,100, it means one station will get 300, 300, 300, that's 900, and we'll have a remainder of 200. That 200 will go to a 4th station, because if we add that to the last station, you find out it will go above 400. So we'll open a new station and the 200 will be placed into a 4th station. Okay. Now we've also gone to establish stakeholders groups for both gender and disability in all our 16 districts. They are there to help us articulate problems that will arise. If women are faced with problems, it is that group that will actually mediate. If disabled persons have problems, they will have to go to that group and then they mediate, and then they get back to the Commission through our electoral inclusion department, because we no longer have a gender and disability department. It has been changed to gender and disability. It has been changed to electoral inclusion, which means it now takes on board affairs of the youth, not only women or gender. They also take PWDs on board, and they also take the youth groups on board. So it's now an inclusion department. Now, we have also identified buildings within the 16 districts. This time around, we'll be tallying in the districts. So which means all election results for a district will be tallied in the district. So where you vote is where they count.
Why is that?
Well, actually, it's because the law says that tallying should be done at district level. If you could remember, in the last election, we had a problem in which we had to delay in announcing the result because there was controversy between 2 political parties as to whether we should actually tally in a central location at Wellington or we tally at the district. This time around, the laws have been amended So now we are tallying in the at district level. So you vote in the districts, they count in the district, they tally it in the districts, and then the results are announced at 16 locations in the districts. So what will be taken to the regional tally center is the presidential election results. They will be tallied at regional level and then later sent to the national tally center where they will be announced. So we've already identified those districts and regional tally centers. And we've also, what was going around that we have postponed elections. Well, actually, it is not the general elections. We have an election which we conduct in the Western area rural, which is for the village heads. That is those people residing around Orugu Bridge, Koya Colony, the Peninsula area up to Levuma, and including the mountain villages of Regent, Gloucester, Leicester, etc. They form part of the Western rural district. They don't have paramount chiefs, so they have village heads. So now what happens is that we conduct elections for those village heads. That election was scheduled to be held on the 11th of February this year. But because we have not distributed voter ID cards, you cannot conduct an election wherein registrants or voters do not have ID cards. So that election has been postponed to the 21st of October this year. That is the only election that has been postponed. All other elections, the date still remains, it still stands. And very soon, we'll start to give out the voter registration cards.
Okay.
Which will make sure that voters get their cards so that they can proceed to the polls using those cards.
All right. You've given us a holistic background of the stages that you've passed so far, and that's which you'll be moving forward to. One key area that we may really want you to lament on a little bit is that has got to do with the PR system. As you may know, some people may have voted under the system. From what we've gathered so far, they have voted under the system, but they do not have a clue on what system is it really. And you have some who said they have a little bit of clue about it, and you do have a huge percentage of Sierra Leoneans who do not really know about this PR system. To break it down, how do you explain the PR system?
Okay, I'll go through it for everybody to get and understand. Now, it is not a new system in Sierra Leone. It has been used once, twice, and this is the third time we're going to use it. The PR system has got different types. Now, it simply means proportional representation system. In 1996, when we had a war in Sierra Leone and we could not access the entire country, we used the PR system and conducted elections using the national list, which is one form of the proportional representation system. Wherein political parties, where we had 112 seats in parliament, and political parties were asked to submit lists of candidates in order of preference. So 112 names were submitted, and the threshold was set, and those parties that met the threshold at that time were able to get seats in parliament. Now, it was also used in 2002. But this time around, we use what we call the district block system, where in each district we are given seats, allocated seats. We had 112 seats in parliament, and we had 14 districts at that time. So what they did was to just divide the 112 by 14, and each district, because we never had figures to determine population of those districts, they were given 8 seats across the board. So each district had 8 seats, in which political parties submitted list of 8 names in order of which they would prefer. For example, if I am if the party prefer me as a first choice, then my name will be number 1. If they prefer you as second choice, your name will be number 2. So it is ranked in that order. So when the seats are calculated, if the party is entitled to seats, they go according to that list. So if the party has only 1 seat, then I'll be the first person in the list that they will take me to be a parliamentarian. So that was used in 2002. But the law itself that came mandated the commission to use that one came into effect in 2001. It was passed in parliament in 2001. So it is not a new law per se. It has been in existence. It's the section 38A of the Constitution. It states that in the event that a date has been appointed for the conduct of elections and constituency and ward boundaries are not put in place, are not done, then the commission could advise the president, and the president can come out with a directive to the commission for the election to be conducted using the proportional representation system, district block system, which was actually what actually transpired. We got the directive from the president, and we were taken to court, but the Supreme Court came out with the ruling that we can use the system to conduct because it is within our laws, and it's not a new law. That law was enacted in 2001.
Okay.
And this is 2023. We are conducting an election, so we can go back to our laws and say, okay, let us conduct the election using the PR system, district block. Now, it is not for every elections. On the 24th of June 2023, we will be conducting 4 elections in Sierra Leone. We have the presidential election, which is conducted using a different system. We have 3 systems that we'll be using. System.
You mean in the 2023 election?
Yes, we have 3 elections that we'll be conducting.
Okay.
And 3 systems that we'll be using. It is simple. Now, for presidential election, we have the 2-round system.
Okay.
When you come out, when you go to the polls, you'll see the ballot paper, you'll see the candidate names, you'll see their photos, you'll see the party they are representing. Because the law says, to be president in Sierra Leone, you must belong to a political party. That is why you see parties going around appointing flag bearers. So you'll see the photo of the person contesting, you'll see the name of the person, and you'll see the symbol of the party the person is contesting under, and the portion that you can mark for the person, for the candidate that you want, candidate of your choice. Now you go there and you vote. If no candidate makes 55% of the valid votes in the first round, then we go into a second round. Okay? We'll take the person that comes first and the one that comes second, and then they go into a runoff. And that runoff is normally conducted 14 days after the announcement of the results for the first round.
Okay.
So you will find out that it's a system that has been in existence. We have not changed that one. It's the same system we are using for presidential. We also have election for chairpersons of district councils and mayors for cities. That one has not changed also. It is first past the post system. That is the one that has the highest number of valid votes becomes the winner. That has not changed. The elections that will be affected by the PR system is the ordinary members of parliament elections and the councillor elections for local councils.
Okay.
Now, what will happen in that instance? The election is still conducted as it's used to be conducted. But what you will see on the ballot paper is not the face of the candidate. You will see political party symbols, political party names, and the column where you can vote for the political party of your choice. At the end of the day, each district will announce the results based on the same principles we have been using. If the intention of the voter is clear for the party you are voting for, they will announce the result for that political party. So at the end of the day, we'll find the percentage that each political party has in the district of the valid votes. And if the valid vote, the percentage you make is in line with the threshold, then you are entitled to get a seat.
And what is the threshold?
The threshold, I'll come to that one. You see, if you make the threshold, then you go into the next phase where you are sure of getting a seat within parliament or within the local council. Now, I've spoken about threshold. A threshold is the percentage that you have to meet, the minimum percentage that you have to meet. So if you have 11.9% for parliamentary elections, you have 11.9% of the valid votes, then your party or the independent candidate is qualified to get a seat.
So have you not got 11.9?
If you don't get 11.9, then you are not qualified. It means you are dropping out of the race.
So you must actually have...
You must have the threshold. You must meet the threshold.
Okay.
Now, what happens in that situation is that we collate all the valid votes for the district, and then we find the percentage of that total vote, valid vote that you have made. If it is 11.9%, you are sure of getting the seat. And this 11.9% is not that we have thought of any number and then we put it down. No. we have actually looked at how many districts we have in Sierra Leone. That's 16 districts. How many seats do we have in parliament? The next parliament, not this one. This is the outgoing parliament, the parliament that will come after 24th June. We have 135 seats in the new parliament. Now we have 132, but the next parliament will be 135. So if you divide 16 by 135 and you multiply that by 1,000, by 100, you'll have 11.9, which is the threshold that we've set. It is 16 divided by 135 times 100. It's a percentage, so it's 11.9%. That's the threshold for parliamentary. For local council, we have 22 councils. We have 493 seats for councillors across all these 22 councils. So if you divide 22 by 493 and you times that by 100, you'll get 4.5. So the threshold for parliamentary is 11.9 and the one for council is 4.5. So which means to become eligible to get a seat, you must meet that threshold, 11.9% for parliamentary, which means we are going to add all of the votes you have in all the centers within the district, and then you calculate your percentage. If you meet the threshold, then you go into the seat allocation. Okay.
Who does the allocation? The ECSL?
We have already given the seat to every district.
Okay.
Based on, remember I said we in 2002 we gave 8 seats to every district.
Okay.
Because there were no figures to tell the population of those districts. But for this time around, we've looked at figures that are available.
Which figures?
We have the current seats in parliament that each district has. And we started off the boundary process using the midterm census figures, and we allocated seats using those figures.
Does those figures reflect the registration?
Well, it's the census figures that comes from Statistics Sierra Leone, which is an institution established by an act of parliament. And the law says we should ask them for population figures, which they gave to us.
Okay.
So we've used both the current seat allocation that we use using the 2015 census and the one we have allocated using the 2021 midterm census figures. We found the average, and then seats were allocated to the district based on those population figures.
Okay.
So you find out that what we'll be using for the election, the seats allocation, will be based on those two figures. We call them hybrid figures because it's midterm and then the 2015 allocations. We add and then we found the average. Now, for example, if you come to Western Urban, where I'm living, where I'm familiar with, I'll use it as an example. There are 20 seats currently in parliament. And if we had completed the boundaries using the midterm census figures, we would have got 11.
Okay.
Which means we would have lost 9 seats. But if you add 20 to 11, you'll have 31. And if you divide that by 2, you'll have 15.5. But we don't have half seats in parliament. A 0.5 seats does not exist in parliament.
Okay.
We don't have a seat where you say, okay, Western Urban, let one person sit here halfway, and then somebody from Bombali, for example, sit the other half. No. So if you have for 15.5, we round it off to the nearest whole number, which is 16. So you find out now that Western Urban will have 16 seats in the next parliament, not this one.
Okay.
So, and then those 16 seats, if you compare what they would have lost using the current one, the midterm census figures, they would have lost 9 seats. Now they are losing only 4. There are other areas in which you also have districts that are presently with 8 and they would have got 7. But when you find the average of 8 and 7 is 15, and you find the average, it is 7.5. So to the nearest whole number is 8. So they end up having 8 seats again. So you see, so it's actually a win-win situation. So they will be going there. Now in the PR system, what would happen? If you have 16 seats, you are going to give us, political parties will give us names of twice that number. So 16 times 2 will be 32 names. On the list that will be submitted will be 32 names. Now the good thing with that list is that the law says that for every 2 male, the third should be a female.
Okay.
So which means we will also have female representation. It doesn't mean that you cannot have 3 females. But in the event that you have number 1 being male, number 2 being male,
Is that a law from the Electoral
it is
Act?
within the Electoral Laws Act, the PEA 2022. It's there.
Okay.
So if you come with a list and it does not reflect that one, the commission has the right to refuse it.
Okay.
And you go and put it in that order and you come with it again.
And the commission is committed to doing
We are committed to doing everything according to the law.
Okay.
So if you don't follow the rules or the laws, we'll ask you to go back and come with it. And you'll find out that for Western Urban, it is 16 seats. Each political party will give us 32 names. And when we calculate the percentage of the valid votes of that political party, they will first of all determine whether you've met the threshold, which is 11.9%. And all those parties that meet the threshold of 11.9% will have to also come back and also allocate those seats within that district using the percentage scored and the total percentage of the parties that meet that threshold. So you'll find out that all of the seats in Western Europe, probably 16 seats, will have mixture of political parties that will have it as long as they meet the threshold.
And does the PR system make room for independent candidates?
Yes, as I mentioned that earlier, I said independent candidates will also contest.
Okay.
And they also need to meet the threshold. But the good thing about the independent candidate is that they are coming as a lone contestant.
Okay.
They are coming as an individual. And they need to meet the threshold,
which is the
11.9% for them to get a seat. And also, they will be selecting symbols. Because we don't want a situation where independent candidates will come with a color of a symbol that is very close to a political party to get the electorate confused. No. We have symbols that they will choose from. So we have shovels, we have hoe, we have houses, canoes.
Okay.
So you can select any one of those symbols, and then if I come first and I've selected a canoe, for example, and you come as an independent candidate, as a second independent candidate, you cannot choose a canoe again within the same district. Okay?
All right.
So you find out that one good thing the commission has also done is that we have also looked at the nomination fees,
okay,
which has been reduced drastically, because you find out that people are grumbling. The women are saying, okay, we cannot pay nomination fees. For example, presidential elections, they used to pay 100 million. That's all leons. If you come to the new leons, it's about 100,000 new leons. Now, what we have done is that it's now within the laws that you take the minimum wage, multiply that by 12, and you multiply it by 6, and now it's now 36,000 leons or 36 million leons, which is a vast reduction there. You see, for parliamentary, it is 3,600. Okay? So that you'll find out that everybody can afford to pay that and then become a candidate. Or a political party can afford that, even though they say they are financially challenged, political parties, but yet they can afford that one to pay for their candidates. And they've also made it very clear that, remember I said we'll double the number. If we have 32, if you have 16 seats, you come with 32 names.
Yeah.
You're only going to pay nomination fees for the first 16.
Okay.
And if for any case we have to go into the 17th name, then the person will come up at that time, the vacancy exists to pay the nomination fees again. You see that you're not going to pay for 32. You only pay for the first 16.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the threshold, which is the 11.9, and then we can come to the education when it comes to public education, especially. You've told me already you've engaged stakeholders in various communities, but you know you don't just need to limit it at that. You need to stretch your wings in terms of making sure that people really get the facts right before we get to the elections. Now, regarding the 11.9% threshold, assuming someone in Party A gets 11.4 and another person in Party B gets 11.4, what happened in that case?
Now, it is not the individual getting the 11.4.
Or let's say the party.
It is the political party getting the 11.4.
So assuming it happens that way.
So if they have 11.4, another person have 11.4, it is not up to 11.9. It's like taking somebody in a school and you say for you to pass to the next class.
But you still need to have someone to represent that constituency
But remember, it is not just one party contesting or two parties contesting. We have 17 political parties in Sierra Leone, registered political parties.
And they've all
and all of them, well, we've not done nomination yet.
Okay.
But we don't come up and contest. They are conducting their primaries now. And they all are selecting their candidates. So you come, as long as you come with the list, people come out and vote. Remember, we are talking about percentage of the valid votes.
Okay.
So if there are two political parties contesting and there are 10 voters, we calculate the percentage of the valid votes based on the turnout.
Okay. I believe viewers may be understanding that particular area. So now let's talk a little bit about the public relation aspect. How have you been able to, what is the strategy that you've put in place to make sure ECSL's message has reached the common man, especially on this PR and the other electoral?
Now, in the former commissions, that is, I mean, the former dispensations, like the last cycle, we had electoral education departments together with the training department and procedures department. Now, what the chairman did when he came, he separated these departments. We had 10, now we had 15 departments, and one department that stands out distinctly is the electoral education department. So we have a department now exclusively for electoral education. And what we have done is to look at a blend of both traditional and modern methods of reaching out to the electorate. You know, our target changed. We are looking at stakeholders, political parties, example, they are our primary stakeholders. Now our primary stakeholders are the electorates. Because when we say electorate, everybody 18 years and above who is a Sierra Leonean and your name is within the register of voters, you are our primary stakeholders for now. Why we've made them the primary stakeholders? Because it is from that electorate that we have the contestants. Members of political parties are coming from that electorate. So we are targeting the electorate generally. Now what we've done, a blend, or as I said, of traditional and modern methods of communications. We are looking at flyers, posters, billboards, banners, and FAQs. In addition to that, we are going into the modern world to look at the social media. And we are targeting, we are in every social media platform. We are in TikTok, we are in WhatsApp, we are in Facebook, LinkedIn, we are in, you name them, all of the, we have Twitter, Instagram, we are in all of them. If you just go to ECSL in any of those social media platforms, we are there in Facebook. And we interact using those words.
Has that been
we have been getting feedback from those groups. We have been getting reaction. We have been getting likes. Everything about on that one. We've also looking at getting what we call the SMS interaction. We say thanks to AfriCell. What they've done for us is that they've given us what they refer to as SMS app. You send an SMS, especially if you want to know your status as a voter. It is *838#, and you send in your voter ID number or your voter update receipt number, or you can send your confirmation slip number. If you're a new registrant, send in your 18 digits that you have on your receipt, and then they will give you your status on the register, your name, the center where you registered, the main number of your parents, father and mother. They will give you the district that you registered, excluding your photograph, because SMS does not bring in photographs. But if you cannot get that one, we have also have the 838 toll-free line from all the networks, from QCell, from AfriCell, from Orange, where you can call, and there are various professionals, I will call them, who can answer to your queries, take your questions on board, and then take your concerns up with the commission. It's on 24/7. We've also got a dedicated line. 2 of them, dedicated lines from Orange and AfriCell that you can call. That those ones you require to have top up. But the ones I've mentioned, that is the toll-free line. You don't need a top up to call the 838. You don't need credit in your phone to get *838# to check your details. We also have one on online. Those ones require internet. That is ECSL. You can go on that app, download it from Google Play Store, and you can use that to check the details of individuals. When you go into the app, it will tell you what to do. You enter your details. This time, because it's online, you can see your photograph. You can see your name, your parents' name, your center, your voter ID number, your receipt number, all the details that you need to get. You also have voter details.ec.gov.sl. Right? It's also another app that you can use. You need to be on to have internet. You can also check your details there, and you can also interact with the commission through that line. And if you have any problem with your details as published, you can call 838 and we can provide solution. But when you're calling, make sure you have your voter ID number or your voter update receipt number close by you, because for us to check for you, you need to get those details that we can use as search tools so that we get onto you. You see, and we also have what we call the Ward Electoral Education Committee. That's WEECS. That one is ward-based. When we used to have wards, we have 446 wards. They are in all the 446 wards. You have 7 members. You have with the women's representative, we have the paramount chief representatives, we have the town criers, we have youth groups, we have persons with disability representatives. They are all there. What we do is we have given them pre-recorded megaphones so that we'll have uniform messages all over. They are in every ward. They go from place to place, and what we do is to just give them megaphones that they could charge. You don't need batteries. The batteries are inbuilt. You just need to charge them. So we ask them to go to any charging center, pay a little amount of money which we provide for them, and they charge. And then the memory card is there, the memory stick, USB drive is there, pre-recorded. What you need to do is to just put it on, and the message is played all over. And when it's finished, it comes back again. It's going over and over. So they just need to move, and then they play it out. So we are getting to every community. Now, talking about the PR system, we have done so much. And I believe if you move around town, nobody will tell you they don't know about the PR system.
No, from what
or they've not heard about it.
We do have lots of people who really do not understand about the PR system, and some can tell you we've not heard about it. And of course, we understand the fact that lots of people are not that much focused on gathering news on what's happening in the country. That is why we think maybe ECSL need to re-strategize. Don't you think that is needed in terms of putting out this information?
Now we have been doing that. If you say they've not heard about the PR system in this country, I will challenge that one. I was with IGR, and they said 6 out of 10 Sierra Leoneans have not heard about the PR system. It's not true. Even when we were in court, it was all over the place. It was live on AYB, it was live on the street. People knew that we were in court for the PR system to be used for conduct elections.
Yeah,
but if you say they don't understand it, yes, we are working towards that. That is why we are saying, don't just stay at home. Contact us. You are free to call. If you don't have top up, just take the toll-free line. And you say, I want an explanation about the PR system. It is free. We will explain to you.
How receptive are the people that are behind this toll-free line?
Just try it and you'll see. They answer your calls. We also have the 075 000 821. We have 099 244 514. We have 031 626618. These are all lines we put out. We send it out to them. If you can call. It's on 24/7. We'll take time to talk to you. I could remember I'm on WhatsApp. Somebody from the USA, he just picked it up from the website and Facebook, and he sent a message. In 10 seconds, he got a reply. He said he never knew that we would reply him so fast. He just made it a try.
Okay.
We said, yes, we are active, we are ready, we respond to you. And they have been chatting.
We'll let the public know that they should try that means as
just
well.
Just help us to disseminate that one. We are on AYV television and radio every Tuesday between 8 to 8:50 p.m.
Maybe you need to come back on TDN Africa Media.
We go to SLBC radio every Wednesday.
You need to come on TDN Africa Media.
Yes.
So here we give unbiased, balanced news.
It is now that we are coming to get in touch with you. We'll still work out a memorandum of understanding with you so that you help us disseminate the information. You see?
Okay.
On Radio Democracy, we are there every Friday at 7 to 8. Okay. You see, so Afri Radio, we are there at 10 to 11 on Saturdays.
Okay, so now let's look at the distribution of the voters ID. That is very, very pivotal to the whole election. So now, what are the requirements for one to get hold of his or voters ID?
Now, first and foremost, you must have gone to the center on the 3rd of September to the 8th of October when we had the data capture. You also must have gone there to do your exhibition to confirm your details. But if you have not gone to confirm your details on doing the exhibition, you still have no problem going to the center to collect your ID card.
Okay.
But you must have gone there between the 3rd and the 8th, 3rd of September to the 8th of October, to let them capture your details or to tell you to confirm your details. So if your details is amongst the 3,374,258 people whose names are on the register, then you can go to the center where your details were captured or where you went for exhibition. It is the same center that we are using again to distribute your ID cards. So when you go, all you need to take along, you can take along your voter update receipt or your confirmation receipt to go to the center, and then your card will be there. You can.
So some people may not have this receipt that you're talking about.
If it is missing, you can still go because it's your name, it's your face. We have other search parameters. But why we are sketching on the receipt is that when you go, you know that the number on the receipt, you are the only person with that number. So it will be easy for them to search and get that number for you. You will spend less time. But if you go and you don't go with the receipt, then they will spend a longer time to look for your name. For example, if you talk about Sise Mohammed, we have so many Sises. We have so many Mohammed Sises in Sierra Leone.
And now that you just talked about if someone had gone to do the verification, and the verification had to do with either correction of name, to clarify if your face is on the ID. So what's going to happen in case someone who may have problem with their faces, right? Are they not gone for verification? How do we do that now that the cards are supposed to be given out?
You see, as professionals, you preempt scenarios, things that would happen. Okay. We have scenarios for normal cases where you go and everything is okay and you collect the card, you go. We also have scenarios in which somebody will go and your face is not on the ID card. Now we are going to use a mobile app. We are going to use an iPad that will be present at the center. Will snap you on the spot.
Okay.
And your photo you will see on the day of polling. When you come, it will be on the register. If your photo is missing on the card, it doesn't mean you should not take the card. You should take the card and we'll give you an attestation to show that yes, you came and your photo was not there. And when you arrive on the day of polling, on the register, you will see your face. We'll snap you with an app, and your photo will be transmitted. And then on the day of polling, you'll see your photo in the register. Now, we've also had scenarios in which we will say, okay, there's a mismatch of photo. If there's a mismatch, we will not give you the card because it is not your face, it is not your details that is on the card. But what we'll do is that we'll still give you an attestation that you will take home, so when you come on polling day, it will have been adjusted. You know, had they gone to the exhibition, then those things would have been corrected. But we are still making provision for those that have not gone there, and these problems are still there. But we'll correct them. We have iPad, we have a mobile app set, and we have trained the staff. They will take your photograph behind a white background, and then they will send that one, and then it will be adjusted.
The last police conference that was held at the police headquarters, they made mention that they've made arrests or they're investigating under age registration for the election. So,
Okay.
so is the ECSL prosecuting that matter?
Well, it's a crime for underage people to make an attempt to be registered.
And
And what we did was to put our system was set in place such that if you attempt and you are caught, we'll have to submit those evidences to the police.
and you will be prosecuting the matter?
No, it is the police that will do the prosecution. But
Okay.
we've submitted all the evidences to them. We have about 607
Wow.
of those underage
And
registrants.
which areas in the country that surpass the number?
In all 16 districts.
All 16.
In all 16 districts, you have them. Yes.
So do we
You
say
know what they did? They went there. They forgot that they had gone around to take their details, and it's in the civil registry. So what they did was to go back to the center, and we in our own kit we have the names of all those that are qualified to go into the register. Remember, we said that we have in the machines the VVK voter verification kit. There is the names of all qualified Sierra Leoneans. So when you go and you say, I want to be part of the process, you go to the center to confirm, your details is transferred from the civil registry to the voter register. Now, when they went and they realized that their details will not be there because they are not qualified. So they insisted and they came with fake birth certificates, and then their details were captured. Fresh capture.
Okay.
Now, when we compare that with the old system, they changed their names, some changed their dates of birth, some changed their addresses, some changed their phone numbers. They forgot to change their fingerprints.
Oh.
See, and so when you put the fingerprint, so at 95%, we found out that it's the same person.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how we captured them, and those details have been submitted to the police, and therefore the police will have to investigate. They are the ones prosecuting.
Okay. Now, before we leave you, you've done so well by engaging us to explain, especially on the preparedness of the ECSL when it comes to the electionary process in the country. What would be your message to Sierra Leoneans now that we are fast approaching the election itself?
Well, the first thing I want to leave with them is that they should have trust and confidence in the commission, because we have conducted elections. This is not the first time, and we've conducted several elections in Sierra Leone, and they have been deemed to be fair, credible, transparent. Now, let them get trust in the commission. Let them have confidence in the commission. Let them know that we are professionals, and if they have problems, let them contact us. There are so many misinformation going around which are meant to create problems. But if you have it from the horse's mouth, then you know exactly how things are going. We've not got nothing to hide. We are very transparent in the exercise, and we've come out with a number of centers, we've come out with a number of stations. If anybody wants to get in touch with the commission, let them feel free to come to the office. Contact our district offices. We are all over in all these 16 districts. We have 18 offices all over the country. Let them just come and contact us, and we'll have the details to give to them. Now, those who will be going for their ID cards, I want them to be patient with the staff, especially if there are problems with their cards. These problems, we have put measures in place to correct them. So if you go and you fall into a category where your card has got a problem, please be patient. We'll solve them. It will not stop you from voting. On election day, everybody, as long as your name is in the register of voters, you are sure to cast your ballot on that day. So let them look at the election as being our election. It is Sierra Leonean election. We all have one vote. It is one man, one vote, and one value. Let us make sure we make an informed judgment, and we will do everything within our capacity to ensure that the election is free, fair, credible, transparent, and the results, when announced, will be accepted by majority of our stakeholders. That is the assurance I want to give to them, and to appeal to them to ensure that we have a violence-free election.
Okay, thank you so much. It was good talking to you, Mr. Raymond Judge.
Thank you very much.
This is TDN Africa Media. We were talking to Mr. Raymond Judge, who happens to be the media director for the Electoral Commission Sierra Leone. He was talking to us about the preparedness of the ECSL regarding the 2023 June election.
We have come to the end of today's news update on TDN Africa Media. Our top stories had been women in Sierra Leone converge to celebrate gender reforms, and ECSL Media and Communications Director speaks to TDN on its preparedness for 2023 elections. Those were our headlines for today's edition. Thank you for tuning in to TDN Africa Media. Do stay glued with us for more current and credible news on this platform. I have been your presenter, Joy Claudia Redwood-Sawyerr. Have a beautiful day.